Welcome back to Magic Tarot Cards. It's Jasmine. I have a 6-card spread here for you. Now, this is going to be a special reading for Michael Jackson. As I said before in the last live video that I did, if you were in there, you heard me talk about Michael Jackson. Lately, my spirit has been bothering me. Something has been bothering my spirit, and everywhere I turn, I see his face. I hear his music, and he's been in my dreams and thoughts so much that I feel like he has either been trying to contact me or spirit wants to send a message through for me to put out there. All right. Now, this video is not made for kids. If you're under the age of 18, please click off now. Everything else is in my disclaimer box, as we are talking about another person, so you can read that there. Yeah, this video, please be respectful in the comments, because as you know, I do not put up with bad comments. I don't care what anybody else does on YouTube, but in this channel, there's a new sheriff in town. I'm not putting up with bad comments. You either like it or you don't. If you don't like it, leave. For those of you that keep repeating, thumbs down, and you come on here just to do that, you can go too. All right? This is for the people that really want to be here, really are interested in my work, and really want to watch these videos. Point blank. Let's get started with the reading. Now, as I shuffled and meditated, and yes, I do shuffle off camera because I have to shuffle at least 20 minutes, console with my spirit guides, and that is just too much to film. If you want to see me shuffle, you can see me shuffle in the live videos. All right, let's get started with the video. I asked the cards, what messages does Michael Jackson have for me that he wants me to put out there, that he wants to give to the world, his fans, or anybody that might be listening? Is there any changes in his status of where he's at, and anything else that he would like to give? And these are the cards that popped out for him. All right. So for the first one, we have the 5 of Cups in the reverse. Okay. So this in the upright, I always give you the upright and the reverse, because that is true tarot card reading. For the tarot card readers that don't give the reverse, it's because they don't know it, or just don't know what they're doing. And that's not a good reading. Sorry. If you're listening, don't really care about your opinion, because if you're a true tarot card reader, you would know the upright and the reverse reading. You wouldn't be trying to just pass it off as an upright reading, because there is no such thing. You have to read both, the upright and the reverse. Okay. So in the upright, it represents a man standing here, man or woman, could be either one, hanging his head, crying over something that was lost. There's 3 cups there spilled over, and it seems like something spilled out of him. Maybe the life force lost. This is crying over a loss, emotional loss. So I do feel like he was this way when he was in the present, living on earth. He had some emotional losses that he kept, secret, kept to himself, kept to, just wasn't really, talking about it, telling everybody. But what he didn't realize is he still had 2 cups standing here behind him that were great, something great. And those represents the rest of his family, his children, and everything else that was in his life. He was depressed most of the time because due to the type of life that he lived, where he had to stay hidden most of the time. He didn't have a whole lot of friends, and the seclusion would get to him. All right, before we go any further, I'd like to show you this candle. As you see, the flames are leaning. They're leaning to one side. So there is a presence here with me. And that's just one of the signs that you can know when the flames jump, and they jump back and forth, or they lean and pull over to one side. That represents an entity here. All right. This candle, my daughter bought for me from Bath and Body Works. It's new. It's called Pumpkin Cupcake, and it smells beautiful. She bought it for me for the fall. And also, I'd like to show you the cup I'm drinking out of today. It's called Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice. This is just a cheap little cup that I think I got it at either Walmart or a dollar store. I don't know. I am drinking my magic potion. Can't tell you what it is, but excuse the mess in the background. But yeah. Take a drink. So let's finish up, or let's get on with the reading. So anyway, so this card represented that, difficult times, having trouble moving on because of loss, maybe being engrossed in your loss, maybe in sadness over ends of relationships, disillusioned by broken dreams, things like that, okay? Or some matters of the heart that are sad, maybe losing friendships or stuff like that. But now it fell for him in the reverse. So that represents that he is no longer in that status. He's no longer in that feeling. I feel like when he passed on, that he was also carried that with him. He carried all that emotional loss with him. And what he's trying to say from this card now is that where he is at, he has made new friends. There's new people in his life, and there's old acquaintances that have passed on as well, that have contacted him and that he's met up with up there. Okay, I hear that he returns to good memories in his mind. He has good memories. He no longer thinks about the past and what has happened to him, especially when all of those accusations had come up. He wants everyone to know that he's out of that energy. He doesn't think about that stuff where he's at. He feels back to his self, okay? And I'm hearing he's summoned courage to rise above his loss, even the loss of his life, because he didn't want to die. He didn't want to go. He had so much to live for, is what he's saying. And for a long time, he was in a state after he passed that he could not move on, could not ascend. But he's risen above that feeling, so he's no longer in those emotions. Okay. And I swear, y'all, my spirit has been bothered so much with thoughts of Michael Jackson. I never think about him this way. I do love him. I grew up watching him in the 80s. He was fantastic. I loved him. But I've never been bothered so much with these thoughts and dreams that felt like I had to make this video, because I feel like he had messages to give to the world. And I consulted with my spirit guides and was told okay to go ahead and do this video. So my spirit guides are here with me. Now, this is the King of Pentacles. So this is him, represents him right here. This represents a man that is wealthy, and he was very wealthy with his castle in the background. He sat on a throne. And you see one leg is on the stool representing balance. So this is what he was trying to find amidst everything that he had and went through, and, everything in his life. He was trying to find balance with family. Okay, he loved his children, and that's the only thing that gave him balance. All the money in the world didn't give him balance. The fame didn't give him balance. The fortune, none of that gave him balance. Like what gave him balance was his children. He loved his children tremendously, and that's what gave him the balance that he wanted. He is a family man, because the King of Pentacles is a family man that concentrates only on doing for his family, is a rich man, has a lot of power, because there's the power wand here. He's raising it up, and he holds a coin in his lap showing his wealth. Okay, and that's how he was. He was very powerful man with a lot of wealth. But what he wants everyone to know is that he was a family man, and the thing that gave him balance was his children. He misses his children tremendously. And, he comes around them very often and visits, okay, because he just needs to be with his children. But he wants the world to know that he was a family man. Also, I'm hearing that the things that he was accused of way in the past, he did not do, and he still stands firm to that he was innocent, no matter what anybody says or thinks, that he was innocent of all accusations that he was charged with. Okay, he is a family man. I keep hearing that over and over. Okay, so now for the next message is the Eight of Pentacles. So this represents him sitting on this bench working on this pinnacle. All these pentacles are up on the wall showing his achievements this far. So while he was earthbound, he's saying that he still had a lot more to do. There was a lot more coming that he was working on. I believe when he died, he was working on a video or something, and because he died many years ago. And these are all his achievements here, which he had many achievements, many awards. He did so much, but he still was working on a project, and then he had other ideas. These were still floating in his head, but this was the one he was working on. And I think that's his latest video that he was working on when he passed. He was in very deep thought about it, because here's the blue. When the person is blue, wearing blue, or there's blue background, represents very deep thought. So he put in a lot of hard work. This represents hard work for what was coming next and what he had for the future. He was very passionate about his work. He wants the world to know that he was very passionate. He didn't just play around with his music. That was everything to him. You know, besides next to his family and kids, the music was the whole world to him. That was his passion, and there was a lot more that was coming. There was a lot more that you were going to see from him. It wasn't over yet. He wanted everyone to know that his life wasn't over yet. His ideas wasn't over yet. His music wasn't over yet. There was new stuff coming that was going to be so much better than what he's put out there before. But he didn't get to finish it. And he wants everyone to know that he was very passionate about it, and new things were coming. Okay, there was a lot of new things coming from him. I wish that I could have seen them. I wish he had lived long enough for us to see that. Okay, so now I remember when Michael Jackson died, I was home because I had just had surgery. Excuse my nails, y'all. They're two different colors. I was home. I was on my laptop, and I was on Twitter, and somebody had put the message through and said that Michael Jackson had just died. I was devastated because, you know, I grew up watching him, and so I switched around to the TV and different channels to see, and yeah, they had confirmed that he had died. I was so devastated. I remember I began to cry, and my brother at the time was staying with me, and he walked in the door, and he was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I told him, I said, "Michael Jackson just died," and I was crying like a baby. And he was like, "Oh my God," you know. But I'll never forget that moment, how heartbroken I was when I heard that he had passed away, because, you know, he's someone I grew up watching, so it's part of who I am, you know. We all grow up watching certain people, and which becomes a part of who we are. So next for him is the Five of Cups. So there was a lot of people around him that were sneaky. There was a lot of people that were trying to sabotage him. He was also in deep thought about this, and also very worried about this kind of stuff. Every time an allegation came up about him or was accused of something, he would worry a great deal, because, you know, he didn't want his name smeared, because he was a good person. He always prayed, and he stayed close to God. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and he stayed close to God. So he followed the rules by the book. So for him to be accused of the things that he was accused of was really disturbing for him, because those are things that he would never do. Just because he was childlike and friendly doesn't mean he was a pervert, you know. There's just some people that are that way, you know. He was young at heart, childlike. He had an innocence about him that he was born with. Okay, and those things he cannot help. That's just the way he was. All right, so just because he was kind to children doesn't mean that he was a pervert, you know. And just for the simple fact people accuse him of that is very disturbing, even to me. All right, so here the water is very murky, and you see how these opponents have dropped down their wands, and this man here has stolen the wands, and he's smirking, laughing, because he knows he had beat his opponents. So this is how he felt when he was going through the court. He's saying, going through the court when he was being accused, there was a lot of manipulation by the system, the court system, the people that were dealing with him, the other people, lawyers, and just a person that accused him was also this way, very manipulative. That I'm hearing that child that was manipulated by adults to go ahead and say, you know, that Michael Jackson had molested him, or whatever the charge was. That child was manipulated by the adults that surrounded that child. I don't feel like that child wanted to do that, but I feel like he was convinced, maybe even threatened. I'm hearing threatened, the word threatened to do that or else, you know. And of course, him being a child was afraid and had to follow through on whatever he was told by the adults. All right. So, Also with this card comes a master manipulator. Whoever was behind the whole scheme was a master manipulator, used his power to force others into doing things his way. So I'm feeling like they forced the child to do things his way just for their own personal gain. That's what this card represents. When there's a master manipulator that can use their own power to force someone else to do things their way for their own personal gain. And this is what he's trying to show you is what happened during that time. All right. Whoever wants to believe this, fine. And if you don't, fine. But be respectful in the comments, because if you even think about leaving a bad comment about him, not only will you be deleted and blocked and reported, but I'll deal with you myself, okay? Because I do not put up with that type of comments here. And those of you that repeatedly, the same person keeps coming on here, leaving a thumbs down, why are you on my page? If you continue to leave a thumbs down, go elsewhere. There's plenty of other tarot card readers you can watch. If you want to watch false ones, go ahead, because here is the truth. I only speak the truth. I speak the truth from my cards, my spirit guides, and my own psychic abilities that I was born with and been using for the last 30 years plus most of my life. So if you don't want to hear what I have to say, you can go to another page and watch someone else's false information, because you're only going to hear the truth here. All right? And I'm speaking that from my own mouth. All right, moving on to the next card is the Hangman. All right, so with the Hangman, this is a very important message that he wants to give to the world, not only to me, but to the world, that he has ascended from where he was at to an even higher place. When he first passed, he went to one level, and in that level, he remained for a while. But now he has ascended even higher, mostly where the Most High is what I'm hearing. He's no longer lingering in the first level that he was at. It took him a while to be there, be in that space, because he had to come to terms with his life, with how he passed away, and with everything that went through his life, everything that happened to him. So it took him a while to pass through that. Okay, and he was in his mind a lot about that kind of stuff. Because see, here's deep thought, but a lot of passion here. But he was in his mind a lot about his whole life, how he died. He did not want to die. He wanted to live on and finish his work, because there's his work up there. And this, he had more work to do. These two coins represent more work, okay? But he didn't get to do that. He knows that he made a mistake, is what he's saying, by doing that sleep thing, whatever he was doing. The doctor put him to sleep and all that. He knows that was a mistake. But he did have insomnia and terrible sleep problems due to much anxiety that he had through his whole life. Can you even imagine being him and being secluded the way he was? Would give him tremendous anxiety. And, he was a very sensitive soul. Okay, so a lot of things bothered his spirit, which made him not sleep at night. And he knows that was a mistake that made his life end. And he is regretful of that. He wants the whole world to know that he is regretful of using that to fall asleep. He wasn't an addict, but he used methods that weren't common for normal people to use to fall asleep. And he knows that was a mistake, that he shouldn't have done that. Sorry, my phone lags. Someone's trying to call me, and I am using my phone camera. Also, but now that he has come to terms with that, he has ascended. He has ascended higher up where he's at, where you almost can't touch him. You almost can't communicate with him. You almost can't reach him, because he has ascended to a very high level. Heaven comes in levels, okay? Not heaven, but what I want to say is the other side, okay? And the other side, there's levels. The lowest level, and then you go higher and higher up. According to the way you lived your life, when you cross over, you go to one of these levels until Judgment Day, and then God comes and judges us all, and from there you either go to heaven or the other place, okay? So according to how you lived your life will be the level that you'll be at while you're waiting for Judgment Day. So the level he was at he's no longer there. He's at a very, very high level. He has ascended. This is the card of ascended and moving up and out from where you are to a higher level that's better for you, better for your life, and, just a whole better place. So that is the message he wants to give out, that he has ascended and gone higher up, closer to the Most High, and that's where he will remain until Judgment Day. Now, here we have the 10 of Wands. This is the card of the end of a karmic cycle. So here is in the upright, it represents, an ending has come, but it also represents sadness and depression because the black layer is on top. And there's a lot of deep thought here. And way in the background is the yellow, which represents a brand new day is coming. So an ending has come, but for him it's falls in the reverse. So this represents that the karmic cycle is complete. Now, and since it fell underneath the Ascension card, this represents that the end of the karmic cycle is complete. Everything he had to do on the other side is done. Every lesson that he had to learn has been learned. What he was going through up there is complete. Okay. Everything that it's very hard to explain. Everything that he's supposed to know is already known and it's complete. And the karmic cycle for his life has come to a completion. Okay, so he is where he's supposed to be at, and he wants the whole world to know that. Okay, every message that I have given here, it does not come from my own thoughts. All these come from my tarot cards and mainly my spirit guides who are speaking to me, and then from Michael Jackson that transports these messages here I can hear them, and then I can bring them out to you. All right. Again, my spirit has been bothered for more than a week from dreams and dreams and dreams of him and messages. And I'm having difficulty talking right now because this card has a lot of energy. A lot of videos of him pop up when I open YouTube, and I don't really click on them, but the continuous. I'm like, wow, why are these popping up so much? And then I hear his music constantly in my head, and it just pops up everywhere where I'm at, like overhead in the stores and in the radio, and it's just constant. So I feel like he wanted me to give this message out. All right, I truly loved Michael Jackson with all my heart. I grew up watching him. He was one of my idols because I grew up in the 80s. And I have much respect for him. All right, this video is not made to defame or discredit his name or character because I love Michael Jackson. May he rest in peace, and I hope he finds the glory of God and can be seated with the Most High. All right, and I will continue to always pray for him and light a candle for him because I have much, much respect for him. He was a genius when it came to music and will always be the king in my eyes. All right, end of a karmic cycle is complete for him, and he is able to be where he's supposed to be.